Dear students, good morning. Welcome to La Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 3rd September 2020. The first article for discussion is A Guide to Flattening the Curve of Economic Chaos. You know that flattening the curve is used in the midst of healthcare crisis. It is meant to decrease the rate of infection and ensure stability of healthcare system. Second, flattening the curve is used here in economic context. You know, Indian economy is free falling now. So stop that free falling and ensure better economy for India. That is what author is trying to say. She also recommends steps the government has to take in the crisis situation. India appears to have gone wrong both on economic and also healthcare front in dealing with COVID-19. You know, lockdown was imposed and it was imposed suddenly without any pre-warning. And second, financial support systems were not created for migrant workers. This made these migrant workers risk the lockdown and go to their native places. That spread the infection throughout the length and breadth of the country. Instead of this, what government could have done, it could have invested the little resources it had on testing, tracing, isolation and treatment. If this protocol is being followed, generally the results are better. We have seen the example of South Korea. And first quarter, Indian economy shrunk by 24%. If you add the informal sector to it, the shrinkage could have been much higher. You know how GDP is calculated in India? It is calculated for the formal sector and then it is calibrated to the informal sector. It means informal sector is not measured. But any kind of this crisis worst affects the informal sector than the formal sector. So if these are taken into consideration, Indian economy is showing a free fall now. So what is the way forward? The author suggests that central government has to take the responsibility and ensure liberal spending and give a fresh fiscal stimulus package which is worth for the states and the people. So, author Ms. Ghosh suggests various steps the government can take for addressing this economic crisis. First, GST compensation to states, it has to be paid duly. Second, universalize the PDS and provide for free food grain for at least the next 6 months, at least 10 kg per household. 7,000 rupees per month per the lockdown period as a compensation to the poor and marginalized and the migrant workers. MG Narega can be extended to 200 days. For urban areas, Urban Employment Guarantee Act can be launched. Debt moratorium has to be extended and also interest rates have to be made stand still. Credit support has to be provided liberally to MSMEs and dedicated resources have to be allocated to the states to deal with the COVID-19 healthcare crisis. So these steps, if they are taken, then government can arrest the economic free fall. So the question is, don't you think these steps are expensive, are going to be costly for the government? Yes, but you have to choose the best of the two worst situations. Either you can make the economy go to a tailspin or you can arrest it by compromising on the fiscal discipline. The author says that better compromise on fiscal discipline and protect the economy. The next article is Victory in Long Battle for Equal Opportunities. You know, Supreme Court of India gave a judgment in Lieutenant Colonel Seema Singh versus Indian Army case. In this, it has allowed the women officers for a permanent commission. Remember, short service commission is through which the people are entering into the army. There is another thing called permanent commission. These officers are recruited young and they are being taken into permanent commission directly. If you see National Defense Academy, etc., male can write the exam and can join as the officers permanently. But there is other route that is called short service commission route. In this, women can enter the services and they can serve for certain period. Previously, these SSC women members, these are not allowed for a permanent commission after serving 14 years. They are supposed to retire. Now, the Supreme Court allowed them to take up the permanent commission. What is the advantage of this? It can bring certainty in their career, pay and service conditions. For simple example, if there are any in-service career training programs, these women can attend those and take up the new knowledge. But there is still a long way to go. How can I say that? Indian women are allowed into combat support services. These are combat support arms and services, they are called as, not into direct combat. Indian women in long run shall also be allowed into direct combat. That is what author wishes. The second thing is, Indian women can enter into armed forces only through short service commission but not through permanent commission. After short service commission, they are entering into permanent commission. So here, author suggests that women also shall be made to enter into permanent commission directly. Grim sovereign tangle. So we have discussed this article enough. This is about GST compensation to the states. GST Compensation Act was enacted by the Parliament, and any losses incurred due to GST implementation has to be paid by the center to the states. That is the essence of the article. In this scenario, center has separated losses due to COVID-19 and losses due to GST implementation. And center states that losses due to GST implementation it can pay, but not the losses due to COVID-19. And second thing, losses due to GST implementation, they are close to 97,000 crore rupees. It is asking the states to borrow that money from RBI, which the center can pay them in the long run with the incomes from compensatory cess. And the reason center is stating is the compensatory cess collected is only 66,000 crores this year. So the deficit the states have to borrow, and later center can compensate by collecting the compensatory cess in the long run. It means that compensatory cess on sin goods is bound to increase and stay beyond 2022. And the second point is the total deficit of GST due to COVID-19 or GST implementation, etc., the states can borrow from the market. What the center reason here is, if the center borrows, then it will be reflected on its credit rating. But remember, the credit rating is determined by the public debt in totality, that is public debt of the center and the states put together, and the argument given by the center do not augur well over here. And the GST is a reform in which cooperative federalism was displayed in India. So the center positions today on GST payment, compensation payment to states, can build a trust deficit and can undermine the most important tax reform in India, that is goods and services tax. Dissent and detention. It is about Mr. Kafil Khan, a government doctor based in Gorakhpur. He was arrested when he flagged the issue of death of children due to oxygen deficiency, showing the negligence on his side. And after keeping him in jail for 7 months, he was about to be released on bail, and government or the district magistrate invoked the National Security Act to keep him in jail further long. So see carefully, when courts want to release him, they have kept certain other reasons and wrongly invoked National Security Act. Obviously, the respite in courts comes late. In the meanwhile, the government wants this man to learn his lesson. Don't you think it is a kind of a persecution? Don't you think it is the misuse of National Security Act? Then, if India has certain punishments for the district magistrate or superintendent of police for invoking the National Security Act on innocents, then this would not have happened. These are called torts. In USA, if a person is wrongfully arrested by the public authorities, then person can challenge the state. In India, the options for challenging the state for wrongful arrest is absent. That is what is required. A missed opportunity. This article is the criticism of Gopalakrishnan Committee report, which has come upon non-personal data governance framework. What is non-personal data? Data which is not used to identify an individual is called non-personal data. So, a committee was able to pinpoint on creating data commons for non-personal data held by private multinational companies like Google, etc. It failed to see that the non-personal data is also held by the government. The non-personal data held by the government is collected and stored by the government through taxpayers' money. Obviously, government has a largest repository of the data of people. Why can't the data also be made as part of the data commons? That is the first thing. Second, committee failed to look into various inconsistencies existing in existing policies. Let me ask you a few things. Digital India policy, what it says, information for all. Don't you think that is data commons? Second, National Digital Sharing and Accessibility Policy 2012 states that all non-sensitive information held by public authorities shall be made public in all readable formats, machine readable formats. So this particular policy, National Digital Sharing and Accessibility Policy 2012, is also asking for the opening up of information. And the third thing is open government data platforms. What is this open government data? Make every data available for all. So, data disclosure has to be a rule, data secrecy shall be an exception. In spite of this, it is not being well implemented by ministries and departments. So the existing policy framework itself opens up the government information. What is there is inconsistency among policies, inconsistency between the policy and implementation. The report failed to look into this. That is what is the major criticism of this. Government data, it has specific advantages over the private data. What are they? Government data accuracy is much higher. Second, people enjoys the trust on this data. And income tax or for that matter traffic movement, many of the public issues can be solved if government data is accessible. And opening up of the government data also improves accountability and transparency. Policy decisions becomes more rational and qualitative. Now, the next article is one error rectified, many to go. This article talks about Supreme Court judgment in Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma. It is about property rights to women case. In this judgment, Supreme Court has clearly stated that woman is a co-parsoner by birth. In that case, any kind of previous judgments, they stands overruled by this particular judgment. The previous judgment was there in 2015, that is Prakash versus Pullavati. So in this case, a woman can be a co-parsoner if her father and herself are alive. In Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma, what Supreme Court has stated, father and herself need not be alive to have a share for her to in the property. In this case, it also given a retrospective effect by the court. In this article, what the author says is, in India there are many laws here and there which are not inconsistent with this judgment. One example given over here is UP Jamindari Abolition and Land Reforms Act 1950, which do not give equal rights to women in paternal property. That also needs to be removed and corrected. That is what author suggests. Question hour dropped in Lok Sabha. So in view of the pandemic, question hour and private members' business dropped in Lok Sabha. But 0 hour continues. 0 hour is allowed to raise matters of urgent importance. You need to know great difference. In the question hour, minister is bound to respond to the question. But in the case of the 0 hour, minister has no obligation to respond to the question. So what the opposition is criticizing, suspension of the question hour weakens the public accountability of the government. Next is Mission Karma Yogi to train government officials. Union Cabinet approved for Mission Karma Yogi for capacity building and performance evaluation of civil services. It is a comprehensive post-recruitment reform of civil services. In India today, let's take I got trained in microfinance, but I may not be given a posting in NABARD, but they give me posting somewhere in women welfare and child welfare. So there is a mismatch between capacities which I gain and the service which I am doing. In this context, there has to be a match between the domain expertise of the officer and the job which he is handling. This is what exactly suggested by the Second Administrative Reforms Commission. Modi government is said to have implementing all the recommendations of the second ARC. In this flow of the things, evaluation of the public officials, periodic review of their performance, these were given importance. 2 days back we saw that officials can be prematurely retired. In line of this, capacity building is given certain focus. Now, in this, the rule-based to role-based shift will be there. What is meant by role-based shift? The officers will be shifted to a job where they have the domain expertise. Where they are getting trained on what subject they are getting trained will be linked to the job which they are going to do. The scheme will also focus on functional and behavioral competencies. Many a times public officials miss these behavioral competencies. arrogance is filled within. This has to be addressed. And any IAS or IPS or anything is meant for public service. The sense of service rather than the sense of authority need to be instilled in their minds. Integrated online government training digital platform, which is got iGot Karma Yogi platform, is being brought in for continuous performance evaluation, continuous training and monitoring of these officials. And at the Prime Minister level, a monitoring structure is being developed, which is called Prime Minister Public Human Resource Council, to direct the reforms on civil services. And are these coming free for the civil servants, these training programs, etc.? No, these are coming at a payment. Every civil servant is expected to pay rupees 431 for annual subscription to training. This is about Mission Karma Yogi. Coming to the news of China, Indian government banned another 116 mobile applications of China, and the reasons cited are related to security. And China using military tactics to expand influence, let us see. Annual Department of Defense report of USA has highlighted certain facts related to the tactics of China. So Chinese leaders are involved in tactics which are short of armed conflict to expand their national interest. They do not go to the extent of armed conflict. They will be there at the stage of bullying and slowly occupying the territories of the foreign countries, which is called salami slicing. Now, another name was given to this. These are called non-war because they never cause a formal war. Non-war military tactics. Second, China is expected to aggressively expand its international military bases. Now the existing military base is there, naval base is there in Djibouti on the Horn of Africa. Now it is expected to expand these international bases. Second, the most worrisome for the United States is like this. China is developing military capabilities on par with United States of America, either in the shipbuilding industry or with regard to conventional ballistic and cruise missile, integrated air defense. Chinese military capabilities are no less to United States of America. This is what has been stated in Department of Defense report. There is another article, Mundra Terminal deal under scanner. So this Mundra Terminal, where is it located? In Gujarat. It is under Adani's. So Adani's have come in agreement with a French company which has the holding of Chinese companies. As Chinese are indirectly involved, this has got into the attention of security agencies. Final article, UAE flights to all nations can fly over Saudi Arabia. Remember here, Saudi Arabia has allowed its airspace to be used by first maiden flight from Abu Dhabi to Israel. So, usage of the airspace by Saudi Arabia is an indication for soft corner of these Arab countries towards Israel. So, though it has said all nations, it means all nations including flights to Israel. That is the meaning you have to read. This is how the conditions on Middle East are changing. So, Iran, Turkey, these are supporting the Palestinian cause now. And many of the Arab countries, UAE, Saudi Arabia, these are expected to move close in alliance to Israel. That's how it is appearing now. Thank you very much. Have a great day. It is Dr. Ram Babu signing off for Law Excellence IAS. And as I announced to you yesterday, tomorrow I am traveling. In my place, Geeta ma'am can do the video. If time permits, I myself can do the video. Please take note of this. Thank you very much.